Hello, welcome to the Lately in PHP podcasting out, live streaming, whatever. This is episode 77. This time I have back Artus Sosins from Latvia. Hello, Artus. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm great. And for now, well, I wanted to say we started really early, but actually now again we are delaying. But okay.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know. Isn't it the right time for you?
Well,
Oh,
approximately, yeah.
yeah. Okay. You mean the other months we used to delay?
Yeah. While
Okay.
setting up.
Well, I'm trying to see if I'm live streaming to live coding. I cannot see if I'm streaming, but if you see, just let me know. And okay, so today we are going to comment on several topics. Some are very interesting because they are not usual, but let me review the usual topics for this month. And uh, yeah, what is it? There is a playback here. Okay. Because I was pausing. Okay, so we are going to start by the usual topics, but I better start sharing the screen if I can. Uh, I don't know if I can. Can I? Uh, just tell me if this is the right screen.
No, wrong screen.
No, no, this, yes, no, I mean the right window.
Yes.
Is,
Yeah.
is it okay now? Okay,
Yep.
so we are going to cover the usual PHP latest releases, mostly of the other month, because this month there will probably PHP 7.1 will be released, given that the latest RC of PHP 7.1.0 was already announced, and they say it was the last. This is the 7.1.0 RC5, but there was the RC6 already. Then we move on to a topic that seems to be a bug that is happening for many years, but it seems it didn't affect much PHP applications, which is related to the way the PHP HTTP stream wrapper sends requests to web servers. It should be compliant with at least HTTP 1.1, but it was not sending the right headers or whatever is the right behavior. Then we have an interesting topic, and probably we should even show a video for a way to show debugging sessions in PHP. It seems this is based on Xdebug, and I'm not sure if this is a fork of Xdebug or something, but it is able to play back sessions. I mean, you can go backwards to see how it was a session before you single step certain commands, so you can actually see before and after. I did not try this, but this seems to be useful, so you can see what went wrong before and after you were stepping your code. The next topic is about just an RFC to propose to prevent that you extract the count of objects that are not countable. This is probably to avoid some bugs that may happen when you're trying to count the wrong type of value. The next topic is more about PGO. PGO can emulate sorry, this one is about driver-specific parameters. You can send parameters to PDO, but some drivers may have specific parameters that you may want to configure. So the proposal is to allow you to configure those parameters. Then there is the possibility to debug prepared statements. When PDO is emulating prepared statements, you can actually see what is the query that was executed after replacing the values of the prepared statements. Then there is a proposal to add the big num support using the OpenSSL extension. The idea is to provide a class that uses the OpenSSL library to perform operations with arbitrary precision numbers. Okay, so the next topic is about the way numeric keys are converted as indexes to access objects and arrays. And the last topic is to propose to have object type hinting. So instead of having type hinting for a specific class, just you can have object, so you can actually accept any type of object in a function. So going back to the first topics, let's go through the latest revisions of PHP. As you may know, PHP 5.6 is going through, I think, security only fixes. So there are quite a few bugs that were fixed, but I don't see anything really huge. Anyway, you should.
They don't even seem to be security only.
Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe PHP 5.6 is not yet in security fixes only yet. Maybe it's next year or something. Anyway, for PHP 7.0, there are also some bug fixes, and some of them seem to be similar to the ones that were fixed on PHP 5.6. And for PHP 7.1, there I'm mentioning here the RC5 that was released on this is October 27, but there was already RC6 on November 10. So probably PHP 7.1 will be released sometime this month, November. Let's see what happens, because there may be delays or not. And well, that's the plan. From what I can gather, many people are not yet even using PHP 7.0 because they may need to make some effort to migrate their code. But I think PHP 7.1 will also somehow encourage people to catch up on the latest versions. Okay, moving on to the next topic. This is not a big deal, but there seems to have been an inconsistency in the way PHP sends HTTP requests to remote servers. And I think this problem was discovered because when sending HTTP requests to some SOAP web service servers, it was not handling the responses as expected. I mean, the responses were not were as if the requests were not being accepted. So there are a few issues. Some are a bit unusual. Well, one is that the host header is mandatory for HTTP 1.1. So the server knows to which host you are sending your requests. In case of, for instance, you have virtual hostings, so the server needs to know what is the address of the virtual hosting that you are accessing. And there was also an issue that they mentioned here, which is about persistent connections. You may want to handle persistent connections, but if the server says that the connection is closed, you should not attempt to use the socket connection afterwards because the socket connection should be closed. And then there is some weird condition. I have not seen this many times. I've developed a HTTP client for PHP. I have not seen this many times, but sometimes some servers return it, the status 100 continue. And it was not being handled very well. And I remember that when I developed that HTTP client, it was quite complicated because it's like a temporary response saying the request.
Always good, keep sending.
Sorry?
Like always good, keep sending.
Maybe it's more like the request was accepted. Hang on a moment, that we are going to process the response. That's what I gather. That is the idea. Anyway, PHP was not handling this very well, so the proposal is to implement a fix to handle this correctly. Okay, well, there's not much to say, except that I'm not sure if this is going to make PHP 7.1, maybe later versions.
Yeah, probably not. I think they had some estimate, like, yeah, okay, they want to make the default HTTP 1.1 in PHP 8 version, but I think there's nothing about it. Well, the ini state of configuration options will come before that, but yeah, not in 7.1, I think.
Yeah, well, I don't know, because isn't this a bug fix? Or
I don't know. It's not really a bug. Just the stream wrapper was using HTTP 1.0 all the time, and no one noticed it. No one cared.
At least when they well, it is a bug if you are sending HTTP 1.1 requests, because some servers may not handle it as HTTP 1.1 if they're because PHP is sending HTTP 1.0, and they're also
maybe use something else like CURL or any other library that would handle it correctly.
Well, I don't know, because I usually don't use this stream wrapper.
Yeah, thank you.
Only for simple things.
As I understood, the functions like file get contents use it underneath. So
yes, that's when you just put the file name HTTP : / something or HTTPS. And well, maybe this for most people it won't affect, but since this was not being handled properly, uh, probably this needs to be a bug fix. But I don't know. Uh, because I think there is no INI setting for telling the version of the request. Maybe that's what they are proposing for the future. Well, okay, this is just a side note, just in case you are using these functions fopen or file get contents. So you be aware that if you encounter some bugs, it may be due to this problem. So they probably fix it now and add the INI version, an INI setting in the future, or not. I don't know if you even want to choose, because nowadays, if you are not using HTTP1, it's because you are using HTTP2.
True.
Okay. Well, moving on to the next topic, which is quite unusual. Let me share the screen here. Okay. So this is the announcement. I'm not sure if this is a fork of Xdebug or something. Probably it is. It is called "Don't Bug." Why don't bug? I don't know why the name is called. But basically, this is a way for you to using a regular IDE that uses Xdebug, that supports Xdebug, to call to be able to single step your code backwards. So you can, for instance, if you are debugging some code, you step over some code and you want to go back and check how it was the state of some variables or something before you actually run that code. And this I don't know if I even can call it a debugger. There is a video here. Are you seeing the video?
No.
No.
But I can imagine lots of situations where it would be helpful. Like you put a breakpoint before the loop, go into a loop and just press step till you reach the needed value, and then you missed it. You need to start all over again.
Yeah.
But here you can just step back and...
Yeah. Well, I was trying to share the screen, but I don't know why I can't. Well, but I'm seeing. Aren't you seeing the Oh,
it's showing,
okay.
Yeah. Full screen.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, now it's full screen.
Yeah. There is a guy talking here how it works, and yeah.
So you can step back. Oh, so you need to switch the modes too. Okay. Yeah, because the ID does not have a feature for going forward or backward. You need to switch the modes. And as I understand that while running the same code again, it does not like really change it. It's all recorded, so it does not write multiple times to file or database or stuff like that. And as I say, it also generates same values for random function and stuff like that because it's a recorded session.
Well, from what I understood, it doesn't actually run the code again. It just plays back the debug session.
Yeah.
So whatever it did, it is already recorded and it just can play
Yeah.
back. I'm not
Exactly.
sure how this works. I'm not sure if this is a separate project because it says it works where Xdebug works. There is a repository in GitHub. And it says it was implemented in Golang and a bit of C. So this is a separate project, not something related with Xdebug apart from the using the same protocol.
Yeah, exactly. Probably would implement the same protocol and that's it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I think this is very interesting and innovative because and useful because sometimes it really happens that you are debugging some code and you don't even know what is going on. Uh, the, we are well. Maybe I think I need to try this to actually evaluate it in practice. Anyway, there are some people talking here in the chat. I don't know if you noticed. So if you see any questions, you can also answer them.
Yeah, I always kind of forget about it. I need to recheck it more often.
Yeah, I have detached the window here because since it was in the same place, it would probably do some inception of the window. Anyway, this is interesting and maybe it is worth trying. I'm not sure how it is started because here in the example, the guy shows a shell window on which he starts the debugger. Don't.bug.sco is loaded on PHP 7, but I'm not sure if this is running on the current PHP web server or just the command line. Well, anyway, this is a very interesting idea. And if you are going to debug a lot using these debuggers, you probably find this idea very useful because it helps you to go back and forth. Okay, moving on to the next topic. There is a proposal here regarding issue some kind of warning or maybe exception when you're trying to count objects that are not countable. So the proposal was already voted and was completely approved, and it is probably for PHP 7.2. Or at least the next PHP version, because I don't know if the next PHP version will be 7.2 or 8.0. So
that is an interesting choice that they, for any value passed to the function count, it will return 1 because it's like counting the value that you passed. It's at least 1 there. So, like, I don't know. It's really interesting choice. I would rather go with 0 if it's not countable.
Yeah. And the problem is that sometimes you pass values to certain functions, and due to some bugs, you are not passing an array or some countable object. So the idea is to somehow detect that, so you can realize that you have a bug and you need to fix it. Okay, so I think this idea is simple and was already approved. So the next topic that we are going to comment is more about PDO. As you may know, PDO is an extension for accessing databases, and you can access many types of databases using the same interface, but there may be some parameters that are specific to the type of database that you are using that you want to control. So the idea of this proposal is to actually be able to define those parameter values, so you don't have you are not restricted to the common set of parameters that you can in all supported databases. So I think this is a good idea. The proposal is for the next PHP version, but it was not yet started to vote, unlike the previous proposal. A related proposal here is about being able to debug prepared statements. I mean, the emulated ones, PDO can execute emulated prepared statements, but it can also execute native prepared statements. But I mean, those that are processed in the server by the actual database server that is going to replace the prepared statement values. So the idea here is that for emulated prepared statements, you can actually see the query that you are that you have run, or I don't know. I think it says prepare. I'm not sure if prepare executes.
No, the execute is lower. As you see, it first with outputs the provided query with the placeholders, and after execute it outputs the real query that was executed.
Okay, so it's only after executing. Before executing, it doesn't.
Yeah, because you can bind more values and it doesn't compile it, or doesn't prepare it really. So
yeah, well, you may be missing. Right, you may be missing some values, right?
Yeah.
So those values are not yet replaced. So I think this makes sense. The proposal, I think it was approved. There are some votes against them for this proposal. I'm not sure, but well, it required 50%, so I guess it was approved.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, and the next proposal that we are discussing here is about big numbers. I'm not sure if big numbers means arbitrary precision or not.
It says it's so. Similar, yeah, it's similar as GMP class.
Yes, arbitrary large integer math. So OpenSSL seems to have some support to manipulate big numbers, although it is not its main purpose. The idea of this proposal is to actually use that support for manipulating big numbers, perform some operations, arithmetic and others, to so you can use them in your PHP code. So you can use a class that is similar to the GMP class to perform these operations, and I think it may be interesting. Uh, they
And
say
probably
they are,
it won't
yeah,
be useful when using a OpenSSL other functions, and that would also accept it.
yeah. Well, I don't know if this they say they are proposing it for a separate version. I mean, a separate module, a separate. Okay, here it
I think
says
it is from OpenSSL module.
yes. Maybe it's oh, I see. PHP 7.2 with an
Uh,
independent BC module and
okay, yeah.
OpenSSL Big Num for 7.1, 7.2. So the idea is to make it available with the current PHP versions. Well, I think it makes sense. I have not used the big numbers any time. Artus, do you have any applications that use big numbers for some
No,
purpose?
I don't think I think I never needed anything like that, but I imagine that for the same cryptography, it probably would be needed.
Yeah. Well, this is not just for cryptography. It could be like, for instance, you are manipulating numbers of for instance, money amounts that you cannot have. Yeah, how would I say? You cannot make mistakes. You cannot round the numbers the wrong way.
You can never make mistakes with money.
Yes, exactly. Even if it is cents. So for those purposes, I think it makes sense. I never used it, but for people that for some reason need to manipulate numbers and without losing precision um, because of limitations of fixed length integers or even floats if they are used at all. This may be useful. So the next proposal that for PHP um, probably 7.2 is uh,
Yeah.
about converting numeric keys in object and arrays. So I guess there is a difference. I didn't even know that it was possible to have a variable in an object that would be a number, like
No,
one, two.
it would be converted to a string, so and
Yeah,
it could exist. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm not sure. So the proposal here is to make it consistent. No, I don't think so because in PHP, when you have an integer, that is the index that is used. I guess it doesn't convert to an integer.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I got this proposal right.
So basically, I think that if you're using array, you can have keys as numbers, and underneath in hash table, you could also use those keys as numbers. If you have an object, then you have keys only as strings, and underneath there is a hash table that also uses keys as strings. So the problem is specific case when you convert array to object, then all those integers, numbers that were used as keys are ignored in object because the same hash table is simply copied or referenced or anything.
Oh, I
Uh,
see.
and the fix would be to convert the keys to strings or something like that, I think.
Wow, this is a very so. When would you be converting arrays to objects? Is I don't know. Usually
The dimension is for set type function, I think.
set type. So it's like a cast.
I guess, or it was a fix. Let me recheck.
I mean, in real applications, when do you want to convert arrays into objects or objects into arrays or whatever?
I don't know. Usually, maybe when it's hard.
Exactly. Exactly when. It's like we don't know, but maybe somebody has some use for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And okay. Anyway, back to the topics. There was one last topic that we want to cover, which is a sort of evolution of the type hinting of PHP. PHP, you can have type hinting for objects, arrays. Then they add also support to scalar values. And now the proposal here, and it says status as on hold, although they want to resume it, is to have a special type hinting that would be called object that would allow any object to be passed, not a specific type of object. I don't know. I'm not sure if I got this right too. What do you think, Arthur?
Yeah. So it could be any object. It could be class instance. It could be empty object, but it can't be integer. It can't be string, which someone could argue could also be something object-like, but it's not. And basically, yeah, it's a type hint for static analysis tools to catch those errors or to point to you that you're doing something that you not expect. There is always the discussion about null value being an object or not. So in
Yeah.
JavaScript it is an object, but probably it should not be.
Oh, really? Null is an object.
Yeah, it's if you use type of operator on null, it would say that it's an object.
Oh, I see. Because objects in JavaScript don't have classes, right?
Yeah.
So, but I guess there was another proposal to allow to accept null as a valid object. I mean, a valid parameter for um, functions that require an object of a certain class. So basically, I think this may make sense in some cases. These cases are a bit weird. I think it is started to vote. No, actually, it was started to vote, but it was paused. So I don't know if this is going to be resumed or not. Let's wait and see. Okay, basically, for this month, we have reached the end of this podcast. Next, we still have the Innovation Award podcast and the latest PHP articles, as well the JavaScript podcast that we are going to talk about the usual topics of the month. So on my behalf, that is all for now. Bye.
Bye.